In my earlier video, we talked about introducing polynomials as well as the terms that are associated with polynomial expressions. Today, I'm going to show you how to add and subtract polynomials. So let's say we have this expression 2x squared plus 5x plus 3x plus 2x squared. How do we add this expression? When my students first start out adding and subtracting polynomials, what they were doing is they were adding up all these numbers. So they did 2 plus 5 plus 3 plus 2. You cannot do that. Note that x and x squared are not the same and you cannot add them together. So why not? Think about your x as being a $10 bill. 10 times 10, which is x squared, is 100, right? So let's think of that as a $100 bill. Suppose you are counting money. Do you just pile them all into the same pile and then count each of the notes, or do you put them in separate piles like the bank does? You put them in separate piles. So here you have 5 pieces of your $10 bills and 2 pieces of your $100 bill. Here you have another 3 pieces of $10 and 2 pieces of hundreds. Now you want to put them in separate piles because your $100 bills and your $10 bills are not the same. And add these two piles together. You have 2 plus 2, which gives me 4 $100 bills, our x squared, and 5 plus 3, which is 8 $10 bills, or x. And that is how we solve addition of polynomials. Let's try another question. When we have this whole string of terms in a polynomial that we're going to add or subtract, we're going to look for your variable, which is your letter, with the biggest exponent, which is the little number. In this case, that is 2x to the power of 4. And I only have one term, which is x to the power of 4. Depending on how many terms you have, you might want to make a little check mark or a little dot below to indicate that you have used it. What's our next biggest term? X cubed. We have a few x cubed terms. So we're going to do 3 plus 4, which is 7, plus 1, which is 8x cubed. Again, I'm going to make a little indication to myself that I've used those. Now we have x squared. There's only one x squared term, so I'm going to write that down. And I'm left with my constant, which is 1. That's how we solve addition of polynomials. Let's try one with fractions. Again, look for our exponent. That's the highest exponent. In this case is x cubed. We have half plus half, which is just 1, x cubed. Note there that I've used that. And next we have x squared. So we have 3 plus 2, which is 5x squared. And I've used all my terms except the 3/4 put at the end. What if I were to do subtraction? The idea is pretty much the same thing, except now instead of adding our like terms, we're going to subtract our like terms. So again, we'll look for our highest exponent. It's our x cubed. Half x cubed minus half x gives us a 0. So these two cancel out. 3x squared minus 2x squared leaves me with 1x squared. I have that left. What if I have more than one variable, which is more than one letter? Doesn't matter. We still tackle it the same way as we did before. We look for the like terms. We have a negative 1x squared y and a negative 1x squared y, which gives me negative 2x squared y. And then we have an xy term and an xy term, which we're adding. So that gives me 2.5 xy. And 3 minus 4, which gives me negative 1. Here's a final question that I want to stretch you a little bit. We have a negative that's in front of our parentheses. So before we do anything, let's get rid of our parentheses. If you recall, the negative is distributed to each of the terms in your parentheses. Negative times a positive 2x gives you a negative 2x, because negative times positive gives you a negative. Negative times negative 3x is a positive 3x squared. Negative times negative 5 is a positive 5. And bring down that 2. Now let's simplify. Our highest exponent is 4x4. So there's no other x4 term, so I'm just going to bring that down. We have no x cubed terms. And do we have x squared terms? Yes. 3 plus 3 gives us 6x squared. And we have a negative 2x, make a mark to show that we've used that, and we've used that, and we've used that. And we're left with 5 plus 2, which is 7. And that's how we solve polynomials, by adding and subtracting, or both. If you like this lesson, please be sure to like and subscribe to my channel. Please be sure to hit the bell button to be informed of new videos. I have new videos every other day. I also offer notes, lessons, worksheets with full answer keys for sale, as well as offer online tutoring services. Links below. Thank you for joining me, and I hope you found this session helpful.